I share this too. I don't know why the numbers are a little bit low today, but the vast majority of people watch this after the fact
Oh
anyway.
yeah.
So question, do you recommend using pure form like birch to teach to track like AKC scent work? And if so, use birch scent and mix it with another scent in the same article. I'm just thinking about people smuggling drugs over the packing. Spray it with another scent to disguise. I would assume the original scent with another scent. How many dogs do you think can do this job? Explosive scent covered with lemon juice and whatnot.
Oh yeah. So, well, the good thing is, to answer the last part of the question first, is we have dogs every day finding, let's say, narcotics being concealed in ways that the viewer there shared. They'll come up. I mean, it's ingenious all the ways they try to smuggle the narcotics through. And the thing that's usually in the dog's favor is the longer it's been confounded with the other non-target things that are trying to mask it, the more that chemical leaks out. Now, if I take something right now, let's say I take the drug and I wrap it with cellophane, and then I wrap it with mustard over that cellophane, then I wrap another layer of motor oil over that, and I put it out right now, the dog probably won't smell it. There's no chance for that odor, the target odor, to seep out. The only way it could seep out, if I'm grubby and I touch the substance and then I touched all the layers, I might have some contamination or transfer there. But what happens is, the longer that something is confounded with something, that target substance will get out. Now, here's the thing. I can't always expect that first time operation, the dog will nail it. I have to show what I should do in training is show my dog that picture. So I share this all the time with the police officers I train with. I say, okay, give me your training aid. We're going to wrap it in cellophane. And then after we do 2 layers or 3 layers of cellophane, we're going to put some mustard on that outer layer. Then we're going to wrap it a few more times. Then we're going to take some peanut butter. We're going to wrap it over that. And then we're going to let it set overnight. So that way it matches like mail. It's being shipped from one location to the other location. So 24-hour mail kind of thing. Well, now the next morning, what we want to do is we're going to put it in the lineup. We'll put these other things by themselves, or the mustard by itself, and the peanut butter by itself, the cellophane by itself, and then the target substance one. And we will see how the dog does. Does the dog pick it up? Does the dog not pick it up? If a dog doesn't pick it up, well, then we can kind of tell that the dog doesn't understand that picture. So we have to peel it back a layer or two. Maybe let's just do the layer this time with the mustard only and see will the dog pick it up. Now, going to the first part of that question of training on pure, I can tell you there's no pure. At some point, especially at handler or trainer level, we've mucked it up in some way. Even though it came to us and whatever, it's going to get contaminated in one form or fashion. How you store it, how you carried it, whatever. Unless you're going to be in a scientific laboratory, wear a full suit, head thing on, because if you can go, it's pure, and you're walking around like this and you have rubber gloves on, you're still breathing over it. There's still the environment. There's still things are going to happen. Here's the greatest part. Dogs can be smart enough to figure out, after some exposure and reinforcement history, what they should be paying attention to. This is the hardest part about detection, is us peeling back those layers of the onions to make sure that the dog is paying attention to the thing that we want it to versus assuming it is. And this is where testing comes into play to help give us better data and to understand what the outcomes are. Is the dog truly accurate at detecting this under these different circumstances? Is it or is it only good at detecting it under these conditions, which are maybe simpler or more dumbed down in the sense that it's only the target substance within whatever container or vessel it's kept in. So you just have to be smart about showing the dog all these variables, so that way it can start to understand if that chemical is present under any of these variable conditions, tell me. And if it's not, also tell me by not showing me anything. And to answer your question earlier about the variables, I introduced those variables earlier because the sooner I introduce variables, the dog becomes more flexible. If I wait too long before I show variables, the dog will think, due to reinforcement history, it's always like this.
Yes.
So the sooner, so I show variables earlier. I show the discrimination. I do generalization and discrimination really early on to include 0 runs, meaning there's going to be runs in those sequences where no odor is present, and the dog will be reinforced for the right answer. It's reinforced if it finds target odor, and there's a level of reinforcement I can use when they do the correct answer of nothing is here. Because if you only show them the right answer to get reinforcement is always finding something, when the absence of the stimulus is there, you will probably have, and again, there's numbers to this that people will test, but there's, in testing cases, your probability of a false response increases for two reasons. One, the longer the handler's there, and two, the dog feels the only way to solve the problem is to pick something. So in lieu of no target odor there, you will have some dogs will go, well, I don't smell, but this thing here is the smelliest. And you'll have some dogs do that. So the sooner that you show them that 0 is a possibility and the correct answer of nothing is here, meaning there's no response, can have some type of reinforcement history to it, levels out the dog's need to say, I can't find anything, so I'm going to pick this. I'm not even going into the factor of handler behavior because there's a whole bunch of handler stuff that goes into play that may also cause these false responses. But if we're just going on the understanding that they find something, they get paid, but the right answer, even in the absence of odor, no stimulus is present, and the dog shows no stimulus present, the user has the option to reinforce that correct answer if they choose. And those that have chosen to do that tend to have a much lower false response history.
Well, it just goes to show the importance of being a blind handler too, man.
Yes.
Because I can see that there's so many tells that a handler can do, even if they're trying consciously to not,
We still do. We all do. People call me out. I'll do random things too. I teach the stuff and I try not to do it, but there's times where, like, I share the easiest one. The easiest one is you look towards where you know the answer is. So your dog will search the direction of where you face the best versus searching the space behind you. So I'll do an experiment from time to time where I have the handlers search, like, and they're in a room facing a certain wall with a bunch of, furniture and what have you. So they'll search a lot of that space there. And as they search that space, the odor is actually behind the handler on the wall over here. Few dogs, and we'll make it stinky. We'll make it purposely stronger to see if will the dog go behind the handler and say it's over here and not only search the area the handler is facing. And for a lot of dogs, that's harder than it seems to be, right? So handlers will face a one wall. We'll have some dogs that will run to the wall behind them really quickly and then see the handler's not looking and then run back and keep searching the wall over here, even though they went to the answer over here. So we have to be very aware of our subconscious cueing. And the first easiest one is we typically sit and stare towards where we believe something is at. Nothing wrong with that per se, but you do need to level out the playing field with your behavior that sometimes we need to be able to reinforce when we're not paying attention. And the dog gets reinforced for making the correct decision of going, well, what I'm looking for is over here. I know my dumb handler isn't facing that way, but I'm going towards where the stimulus is if it is present there. And that's important. It's hard to do.
So when we do have an area that is 0 odor, is absence odor, how do we keep stamina in that dog? How do
you build it. So here's what typically happens, right? So the typical training cycle is every time I'm training, I'm finding odor, I'm finding odor, I'm finding odor, I'm finding odor. And you may go, some people may go months of that training cycle. Like if we're doing detection, my dog is finding something. And then they get to the point where they have to do what is going to be, depending on their job that they do, the realistic aspect of we don't find something. But here's what happens. And Dr. Stuart Hilliard kind of shared this, and it really struck home for me. The absence of stimulus can be aversive.
Yes.
So if you create a significant history of the dog must get out of the car, get out of the cage, get out of whatever they're at, and immediately go search, and there is a high expectation of find because that's what you've done, the absence of the stimulus within a prescribed period of time, because the dogs will start having internal clocks because typically they find something in training within X amount of minutes.
Yes.
To your point that you're making, if they haven't found it in X amount of minutes, you're going to see sometimes behavioral changes, meaning more rapid sniffing. Like, gosh, I haven't found it yet. Dang, this thing over here is really stinky. I'm smelling it really hard, but it's not what I'm looking for. But then the handler, who also has a time violation in their head, well, we haven't found something yet, sees their dog smell anything. And then our own egos get involved because we don't want to be wrong. We're afraid to be wrong. So the dog starts smelling something really, really good. We then see the dog leave it, but we don't see anything of interest anywhere else. What are we bound to go do? Let's go back to that one spot again, dog. Let's go check that one more time. Because that's the only spot I saw you do something. Well, again, if you're not careful in your training, sometimes that becomes some information the dog may use to go, well, if you like this too, maybe you do want me to respond to it. And a lot of dogs, it takes 2 to 3 times, if not more, for them to commit to it. But the handler gets convinced because it's the only thing the dog has showed that they had some interest in. So to build out that time duration, what I really do and what I share now is I show the dog 0 is a possibility really early on in that simple protocol system, where whether it be the wall, the boxes, the wheels, whatever, 0 is an option, and 0 at my discretion gets reinforced on a variable level, just like I do on real odor. I also, once the dog knows odor, I introduce a variable reinforcement schedule. This just bolsters the dogs. Like, I could get paid, so they get even a lot of dogs. And this is, I'm dealing with dogs that are motivated, but even dogs that are less motivated, like pet dogs, I can still use a variable reinforcement system on them to get them to be more motivated about it, because the hope, as even as Bart says, the hope is powerful. And if I create hope, that reinforcement will happen. I'll get, in most cases, some type of behavior change that is strong enough for me to read that there's something that could be relevant to this. So I have to show the dog that 0 is an answer. I might reinforce. And then as I build duration of time, I do a VRT, variable reinforcement to time, then, or variable time schedules. I forget, I'm messing a few of them up right now, but I'm going to vary the time ratio of how long they have to search before they either end the search or they find something. So this is something new I've shared recently, which is called the end of search queue. So I have a queue that starts the search. So sook, seek, find it, whatever. But I also have one that I can stop the search at any given time I want to. I just say, all done. When my dog hears all done, they come over to me. Maybe I give them a pat in the side. Maybe I reinforce them. Maybe I just say, let's go to the next area. I'm bookending the search. I have a start and I have a stop. A lot of teams just say sook, seek, or whatever, and then they search. And when the dog can't find the stimulus and there's no communication from the handler, some dogs don't know what to do if there's no feedback. So all I'm doing is trying to become better at communicating. I can stop the search. Maybe there's something I see over here that's could be a problem in the environment, could be a hazard or whatever. I can say, all done. Dog comes back to me. Now handlers can go, oh no, Cameron, no problem. I say recall. I say here, do it. Yep, you can do that too. But I'm picking something like sook or seek that is directly related to communication and detection. So when I say all done for me, so in the sport world, they always use this one. Finish. That is their cue. In nose work and AKC scent work, the typical answer is finish, and that cues the dog that they're done. But it's really there for the judge to know the handler has finished the search. But inadvertently, what they've done, they've created a start and they've created a stop. Both have value in communication. So to build duration, I'll search X period of time. If my dog hasn't found something yet, I can say all done. I can engage in my dog in whatever way is reasonable that makes sense. And then I can stop for X amount of seconds or minutes and then say start again. And I can keep going and build duration that way. So some will do this. They'll throw odor out to keep the dog motivated. But then if you keep throwing odor out, you might start seeing the outcome of the dog going, well, I have to find something. And for certain dogs, I think that is the answer. But for other dogs, that may not be the answer. Having another form of communication can create clarity versus the dog trying to play hot and cold and never knowing when they're hot.
Yeah. I mean, it makes total sense. And it also, I mean, the bookend and just like what Bart says, like when we do the indicator of like we're back on, that's that hope coming back alive, right? And so the dog can wind down, kind of get over it. And then I'm thinking about a police officer that I was talking to, and he had a perp that was hiding in these bushes. And the perp actually dropped his gun, and the dog found the gun, and that kind of reignited the dog as well. And so I can see that the scent being there, but it took a very long time to find this perp. And so calling the dog back to you, all done, and even staying in the same area or even walking a little bit to just a different area, but still in the same general area, giving the cue to start again.
Well, let's zoom out to this. Let's take a bomb dog. This is an easy example. I could actually do bomb or human remains as a good example for this. So in training, the bomb dog, they train at this, let's say they have 5 different locations they frequently train, right? This old warehouse, a car lot, another building, whatever. And on training day, the dog is getting 5 or more fines in training. And they're typically at these locations. But then that bomb dog goes to the airport it works at or the casino it works at if it's in Vegas, and they don't ever find anything in those environments.
Right.
And the dog starts learning, okay, under this context is Disneyland. Toys are flying. I'm having a great time. All the dogs in the parking lot are barking. We know it's a training day. Probability of reinforcement is extremely high. Over here where I work, very low potential of fines. So then that environment contextually can become punishing in its own way. Oh, here we are. We're at this place. Nothing happens. Now, good programs do find ways as best they can to create reinforcement in those environments. But the problem is they look nothing like the training environment. So what happens is by accident, we end up creating a training system that has these signals and cues that tell the dog this is going to happen. And then over in this environment, not so much. So depending on the dog, depending on the handler, you start seeing fallout if you can't blend training world and reality world better.